Well, this trip we're going not too far out of town for a change. We are on the road to Verdi, which is only about 10 miles west of Reno, but it's a town with its own history worth exploring.
You know, it's so easy to overlook a community that's this close to a bigger city, but Verdi really does have its own personality and its own charm, and we're going to be discovering some of that this trip.
Verdi is split between California and Nevada, and on the border we meet Kurt Gensheimer, who explains just where we're standing.
This is the Allexy Von Schmidt obelisk that marks the border between Nevada and California. There was a lot of controversy around Allexy Von Schmidt's surveying of the California-Nevada border. There were disagreements about where that line was over the course of, well, more than 100 years, actually.
They didn't just use Google Maps?
Yeah, no, they didn't. I guess they were just like trying to do it old school, you know? Today we're going to explore a little bit about the history of Verdi through trails. Verdi originally was established as a lumber town. They were processing lumber from Dog Valley and points between here and Loyalton and Sierraville and Boca, and bringing that lumber down to here, processing it and putting it on trains. One of the ways that they brought the lumber down was on a narrow gauge railroad that went up Dog Creek Canyon. And today we'll hike the old Verdi Lumber Company narrow gauge railroad down Dog Creek.
From the Von Schmidt Monument, it's about 3.5 miles west on Dog Valley Road and then north on a dirt road following Dog Creek. It can be a bit gnarly with rocks and dips, so high clearance four-wheel drive is definitely recommended. We're going to see Kurt in his element. He works with the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship Team to keep trails all over the region in shape. His nickname, the Trail Whisperer. What's all this stuff you're carrying? I'm just carrying water and snacks.
Today I got my loppers and my hedge trimmer. I figure if we're walking down the trail, I might as well bring some tools because it always needs maintenance.
I feel underdressed now, you know? I didn't bring my...
You didn't bring your garden tools?
I didn't bring anything to cut or smash or anything.
I got extra.
Oh, good.
So there's a first little artifact we can see of the old railroad grade. There's a foundation wall there, and the cut of the railroad is right in front of us, and it wraps around the other side of the meadow here. All of this was being logged in Dog Valley here, so a lot of the lumber here was being transported down the canyon into Verdi where the railroad, the Transcontinental Railroad was. This railroad operated from about 1901 to 1926, I believe. It shut down because Verdi actually burned down multiple times. They eventually moved the town to Reno.
I thought railroad grades were flat, Kurt.
Now we're on the grade. Now we're on the grade.
It isn't long before Kurt sees an opportunity to demonstrate some trail maintenance.
This is a, trail saw right here. This is called the Silky Big Boy. This is a multiple use trail. Motorcycles use it, mountain bikers use it, and we want to be able to improve sightline as much as possible. It makes it safer for the user. It also makes it safer for other people, so you can see someone coming because you have a good sightline on the trail.
All right.
Now you can see, and now you won't get hit in the head.
Hey, look, there's a camera guy over there. What the heck?
Hey, where'd he come from?
Kurt periodically revisits this trail to check for areas that need help.
Trails need constant attention. So here's a great example of an area in need of work. There's a spring crossing, and actually the spring is supposed to cross the trail below us, but somehow over time the spring overreached its bank and now it's coming down into the trail bed. So we either need to make another crossing here to get the water off the trail. We need to figure out how to get that water back in the drainage to where it can cross where it's supposed to cross instead of eroding the trail bed.
It sounds like a lot of work. What does it take to do all that?
It's just a lot of sweat labor with a tool.
Really?
Yeah, digging, creating drains. Trail users talk about well, the horses do this, or bikes do that, or motorcycles do this, but the biggest enemy to any trail is water.
And of course the trail is one of the lower points, so the water is naturally
It's going to want to stay in the trail. Yep, and that's why we create drains.
This is not a one-person job, right?
No, I could do this. Yeah, this is a one-person job.
Really?
Yeah.
You just made me feel so pathetic. This trail is part of some big plans for the area known as the Lost Sierra.
Well, the Lost Sierra, originally the name came from a mail route, and the mailmen, because the terrain was so remote and rugged, they'd always get lost. So that's where the name Lost, at least that's what how the legend goes. So the Lost Sierra comprises of primarily Plumas and Sierra County, California, but this Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship Trail Project called Connected Communities, it runs throughout 4 counties in rural California, connecting into Reno through Verdi. So part of this trail that we're walking today is one of the proposed connectors that will link Verdi and Reno into the greater Lost Sierra.
This trail really is pretty flat, so it's easy to manage and it allows for us to look around.
At any point, you might see an artifact from past days, like railroad ties or rusted metal objects. It's like the trail wants to remind you of what it used to be. We hit an overgrown area and Kurt jumps into action. While Kurt and the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship Team do a lot to maintain trails all over the region, Kurt reminds us that we can all chip in.
If we all moved one tree branch laying in the trail or a rock in the way or whatever, the trail would be better for everyone, you know? Don't assume that somebody else is just gonna come and get it out of the way for you. If you have the means to move it, move it.
A little over 2 miles into our hike, we hit the end of the trail. For now, anyway.
We're looking at Verdi. We're pretty much at the mouth of Dog Creek as it goes into Verdi here. This is a proposed route to connect Verdi into the Connected Communities Lost Sierra route. I think it would be a really great connector. You know, it's a nice grade. It has some great views, and it brings us right into town. And you know, the one challenge that we have to sort out is there is private property here at the end of the canyon. Because of the checkerboard nature of the land around here from the railroad days, we still have to figure out that puzzle, but you know, trail building is constantly solving puzzles, you know, figuring out puzzles, and so we're optimistic that we can make that work.
For people who live in Verdi, you could come out, do some amount, and then get back to town without having to go all the way around.
Well, and as beautiful a trail as it is, both in just the landscape, but also how well maintained it is, it's definitely a venture worthwhile to allow people to be able to access it. It makes for a really nice day.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys like it.